Is Joel. I'm the social media coordinator here at Boundless Immigration, and we're doing a live Q&A with the content creators at Banning Wild, Nate and Maud. Nate and Maud, can you introduce yourselves to both of our audiences?
Yes.
Sure. So we've been traveling together and on the road for over about a year now. We originally met in Thailand when we were solo backpacking. So we ran into each other there and sort of kept running into each other. And even after we thought we had said goodbye, we would travel 1,000 miles and suddenly I would pop up in a McDonald's. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, it was meant to be from like the get-go.
Yeah, I know, like 5 times over the whole country.
Yeah, and eventually,
Jesus.
Yeah, we should probably just start traveling together, and we did, and fell in love in Thailand in really like 10 days, and after that we've been trying to figure out how to stay together and make it work kind of all over the world. Maut's from Holland, and I'm from America, so I went there to live with her in Holland. Then eventually she came here, and that's when things got really interesting.
Wow, I can't even get a good night text, and y'all are just like meeting in like a foreign country. That's insane.
Yeah, it's been wild. It's been so wild.
So tell me a little bit about your Maud. What made you apply for the green card? Like, what got you into the States?
Well, we had a relationship at that point. So I was here for like a 2-week vacation in America to be with him. And then Corona happened. So when the pandemic hit, I couldn't go home. My flights got canceled. Of course, we stayed in quarantine together and got very close. And at this point, we knew we wanted to stay together and be together. We thought about marriage, but we thought it was for in the future. But because of COVID, you know, things was pushed forward because I also knew if I would go home, we couldn't see each other for years. And yeah, that was a crazy time, seriously.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. We were basically at this decision-making process where every couple of weeks we were trying to figure out what to do, and we knew we had pretty much 90 days max. So we even applied for a visa extension, which turned out to be the wrong thing because if you're from Europe, you have an ESTA, not a visa. So we found out the hard way, spent $490 on that, poof, gone.
Yeah.
And then that's when we actually found Boundless because we sort of found out through a friend that they were like, yeah, you don't have a visa. You know that, right? You have an ESTA.
I didn't know. I did know.
So
it was confusing.
We figured out maybe we should start doing some really hard research, and we stumbled upon Boundless. And that's where, I mean, once we did, things got a lot clearer because we started looking into what the immigration process was. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we ended up calling a lawyer, which we found through your site. And that's when he was like, well, you guys kind of have 2 choices. Either Maut has to leave in 10 days, or you guys would have to get married. And we were like, okay.
Did she say yes?
Yeah. So we kind of like looked at each other and talked about it for about 5 days. We were like,
let's do it.
Like, this is it. So
how did you guys collect all your documents? Because the application is like hundreds and hundreds of pages long. And
oh my God,
were you guys at this point like banding together or living in one place? How did you guys all collect everything?
So yeah, we at this point we were getting married in that was June 2020, and we started doing our honeymoon in the truck. So he has a Toyota Tundra. So we had like a queen bed in the back of our truck and traveled through the States. And in the meanwhile, we were working on this process, getting all those forms together, which was a lot. We were like, where do we start? There's so much information. And it was very good to have the website because there was literally a list of like, this is what you have to do. This will go first, and then this and this and this. And like all the crazy forms we didn't know about that, but like the birth certificate from us both.
The last 5 places we lived, or the places we lived over the last 5 years, we both moved around. That was brutal.
at addresses like from your houses and from your jobs from the last 5 years. We both like switched a lot. So I was like, what? All the information and the letter, I think.
Right? Oh yeah, the affidavit of bona fide relationship. We had to get 2 different independent people to basically attest that we have a real relationship. So we had to get friends. I mean, we ended up submitting like posts from our Instagram, so they were time stamped. We had,
Jesus,
crazy. The amount, I mean, like you said, it was easily 100 pages. I mean, we had like a stack of papers, you know, because you go through and it's like the I-30, the I-485, the I-864, the I-7 whatever.
65.
765.
I-31.
All of these memorized by the end of it. I mean, we joked around. I was like, I think I got like a minor degree in law right now because through all of these things.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how invasive was the process?
How difficult?
How invasive? Like they ask a lot. How invasive did you feel like?
It's probably a 7 or an 8. I mean, it's way more intense than anything I've ever applied for in terms of like, you know, you're giving
English
your
language.
your complete financial history, you're giving where you've lived, and then just the idea that they're really questioning your relationship and whether or not you love each other or if you're trying to like, you know, game the system or whatever. That was
like a tense feeling of like, look, we're real, we're really in love. And you try to put that all in a document. You have one shot of doing this. And we were also like, if we don't do this right now on the right way, we have a problem for the rest of our lives. So that was a big thing.
I think that was maybe one of the scarier things is it's kind of like your entire fate is resting on putting these papers together the right way. And then, I mean, I remember when we sent it out, we were like, oh, I hope we did every little thing correctly. And, you know, we didn't miss anything. And it was just, it was just a huge, huge undertaking. I think it took us, I don't know,
2 months.
2 months. Yeah.
It was funny because we were on the road, living in a, so you don't have a lot of places internet. So we're like, you know, going on the McDonald's parking lot, trying to get their Wi-Fi to look up all the questions in the form. Send it all in. And then eventually we went to like a FedEx somewhere in Idaho. We were there. And they were like, you have 30 minutes. And we were like, we need all 30 minutes. We have this pack of papers.
We were just printing and printing and printing. I mean, it was literally, I was probably 130 pages or something when we were all done. But I mean, and to your guys' credit, thank God we found you guys, because you guys have it laid out like every single that we had to apply. And I don't know how we would have done it without connecting with Boundless, just because there's no, I mean, we spent hours researching all over the web. We watched YouTube videos. We read everything we could. And when we found Boundless, it was like, oh, great.
Yeah,
here's
this
a
is
step-by-step thing. Here's every form you need. Like, I mean, we literally just clicked one of them and it's like, here's the I-30. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Okay, great. Okay, next you need I-485. Okay, boom, you know, and it was like, finally we found everything in one place. It was, you know, you can just spend hours and hours spinning your wheels on the web looking for some of these answers. So
after that, Nate, what misconceptions kind of were thrown out the window after you went through the process? I mean, growing up in the United States, I think everyone has an idea, just apply. I think that's a common thing that we hear on our side. And we have customers who are just like, I didn't think like it would be like this difficult. What misconceptions were thrown out the window?
Definitely that the idea that if you want to come to America, you can, was completely turned upside down for me. I was like, nope, it's very, very difficult. I was like, just the paperwork in and of itself is, you know, I would imagine it's a barrier to entry for sure. Not to mention the fact that, I mean, you know, you have to be getting married, you have to have a work visa or whatever.
Well, in our case, we are, you know, the love visa. Of course, you have the work visa and all kind of options. I know that the wedding, that's the easiest process. Sometimes it can take you 10 years, which is insane for people. If you really want something, it's just a hard process. I think for me personally, it was hard because we did it and we want to, like, you know, this is the most important thing. We just did it, and after that I found out I couldn't leave the country until I had my green card. I couldn't drive anymore, and I couldn't work. So literally, like, the basic things of life I lost. So I felt kind of like I lost my freedom. On top, can leave the country in a normal world. Family can come over to here to see me, but of course, pandemic and nobody could go anywhere. Couldn't.
Yeah.
So
it evened out.
Yeah.
Everybody was sequestered, so you were just part of the lucky club.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because I didn't realize how locked down you get. Not just, obviously COVID was its own thing, but like for her, you know, she'd already been here for 3 months, and then we got married and went through this process. And then the waiting period is typically, I think, around 8 to 12 months.
Yeah.
So the fact that she couldn't leave, I was like, man, if you do this, like, you have to be stuck here. Like, you cannot leave. And
like financial things, you know, we had to figure that out. And
yeah, so it was like, financially you can't work, but you can't leave. You can't drive. So we were, I mean, talk about connected. It was like, oh, you want to
drive me there?
Yeah, you want to go sure, let me, I mean, it was like, you already did everything together because of lockdown, but I mean, we did everything
together.
Yeah.
Maud, since you were kind of locked in, did your visa expire at any point? Did you have any fear of like police or law enforcement? What was it like just going out in public when you could?
You mean, can you repeat that?
So like did your ESTA expire while you were here?
Oh, right. Yes. So, that was like literally the 90 days of I was here. That was in May 2020, and we got married in June. So we had a really scary thought because I was like, can I go home? Shall I go home? Am I gonna get stuck here? Did we apply for the right thing? Which we didn't. And then I found out I was illegal for a couple of 10 days.
Ooh.
And that was very scary for us because actually, if you're illegal, you get a penalty from 5 years not able to come back in America. So that will be like, what are we gonna do if we really get punished for that? But eventually, because it was COVID and things and rules and nobody was really knowing what was happening, we called the USCIS and they said, you know, I get it, your situation, you get 30 days extra. So when I found out, I was already 10 days over, but I got 20 days extra. So in those 20 days, we had to decide what we were gonna do with our lives and everything. So that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Because I know, you know, I was leaving Holland for 2 weeks vacation. Never would have thought that I would live in America, ending up getting married and, you know, losing a part of my, back home, like, bye.
Yeah.
See you
how did your family react that you were like, hey, I'm married and now I live here and I can't come home? How did they react?
Crazy.
That was funny though, because the moment I found out I was in that situation, I called them crying and said like, okay, this is the situation. I feel like I'm sad because I feel I have to choose between him or my family. And we were very close. They're pretty close, very close back home. So that was hard. But they immediately said like, you know, don't worry, don't cry, choose for love and you will figure it out. So yeah, literally I had the best support system because I think that's for me very important. To do this kind of a big step.
Yeah, they were supportive. It was kind of awesome. I mean, I remember when she called and they were like, you know, you have to choose for love right now and do the thing that is going to make you happy. You know, they're like, you're going to come home, obviously not right away, which I know is hard because they're super close. But the fact that they were so supportive, I think, made it more, you know, certain that we were making the right choice just because, you know, we had her family support and my family support. It was pretty crazy though. We went to Vegas to get married and we live streamed the wedding on one was going back to Virginia where my family was and one was going to Holland, and it was like 2 a.m. in Holland and they were up and like toasting with drinking and my family was up, and it was just it was a really cool way to celebrate from all over the world.
It was at 2 a.m. in Holland. They're like partying.
Yeah.
Nate, how did your family take this? It's like you go on vacation, you come back, and now they were a ring on your fingers.
They were definitely surprised too, because I mean, I called them right before we were getting married, and I was like, "Hey guys, guess what?" And they were like, "What?" And I was like, I'm driving to Vegas to get married right now. Come on. And I was like, nope, really. And so it was just, I mean, everything.
They're like very happy for
yeah,
us
they were super excited. They were, of course, disappointed they couldn't be there. They were like, oh, what, you didn't tell us sooner? And I was like,
and they never met me.
Yeah, they also had never met Mount, so that was a surprise. So it was just, everything happened really quickly, and COVID had a lot to do with that, of course. But we had to make a decision quickly, and I got to say I'm super glad we did, because we've had a pretty amazing adventure since then. We've been traveling and driving around the United States, and we recently built a van, so we've started van life, which has been incredible. And I just wouldn't change a thing.
Well, it seems like the universe kind of is like, hey, you guys are meeting up 5 times. Hey, a global pandemic is happening, and it just made sense in the end.
I know.
Yeah.
All the time. Like, we got very lucky how everything got planned out, not planned out, how everything happened accidentally, and couldn't be better actually for us.
Yeah.
And how did your marriage interview go? Did you guys go in person, or were you guys waived because of COVID? What was the situation there?
Nope.
We went in April, at the end of April, I got the green card. So 2 weeks before we had the interview. So that was very exciting, but tense, of course, because we knew if we would do something wrong, or, having this type, that person right in front of you, he or she is going to decide if you go through, yes or no. So that's a scary thought, but we prepared, and also we were also like, how much do we prepare, because it's the truth. So just also, enjoy, and it went actually really well. It was like 2 hours.
Yeah, it was like 2 hours. I mean,
2 hours?
Yeah,
something like that.
I think so.
Yeah,
talking.
We just kind of talked for a while. Once we were there, I think it was fine, but we were definitely nervous leading up to it, because we had read a decent amount about what these questions were like, or what they could be in the interview process. So, we were like making sure we knew each other's favorite color, like what side of the bed on.
Pajamas.
Yeah, like, what are your pajamas? Like, what do you eat for breakfast? Like, we were trying to go through all of the things that, some of the stuff I was like, what side of the bed do I sleep on? So, yeah, exactly. So, once you get in there, it was really it was much more conversational, and he asked us some of the stuff that, we had kind of gone over more about our past and sort of how our relationship started. So it was not nearly as,
it was not those questions
rigorous,
of what is your favorite color? It was very much more like an interviewing, but smart way, how you say that with the FBI?
What?
There's like this interview technique that
interrogating.
Interrogating.
Yeah.
Because I really didn't know what was really happening, but that was his technique to reflect on our conversation.
Yeah. So it ended up being fine. Yeah. It's something I think we had built up where we thought it was going to be a lot scarier than it was. But the thing I can imagine is if you didn't have a legitimate relationship, it would probably be a lot harder.
Yeah.
But since we'd been together and very, very close for the entire time we'd been together.
Yeah, attached to the hip, it seems.
Yeah, we were literally not just quarantine. We were 24 hours together, like a lot of people, I'm sure. But yeah, it was fine, and exactly, it went really well.
So what's next in the immigration process for you, Maud? Are you gonna do removal of conditions, citizenship? What's next?
Yeah, citizenship. So I'm excited I think that's after 2-3 years, excited to vote and get all the things you are able to if you're a citizen.
Driver's license.
Driver's license, yeah, for sure. Also, the thing we also found out is, as a green card holder, you can't be longer away than 6 months because of out of this country. I mean, because they're like, you want to live here, don't be away for 6 months. So that will first 3 years. So because we want to live half in Europe, half in America, it's good for us to have that citizenship, and then that rule is going away.
Yeah, eventually. Once you're a citizen, you can leave for longer than 6 months.
But you still have to pay taxes outside of the U.S.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And for the time being, it's like you're always going to be planted here for some amount of time, which is fine. It's just I mean,
It's
it's
a
interesting.
planning.
Yeah, you just have to plan it right. And I mean, she can't be away from Holland for more than 8 months a year. So they're still like, we've got to be going back and forth pretty regularly,
Yeah.
which is fine. But, you know, it just means
A lot of air flights.
yeah, a lot of flights. So that's something you have to be
Oof.
prepared for. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just something you have to know about.
But luxury position too.
Yeah.
Nate, I know you have to bounce early. Is there anything you want to plug before you like jump off or anything?
Not really. I mean, I'm just, you know, again, I'm really happy we ran into Boundless. I think, you know, honestly, I just can't imagine trying to get the process done without you guys. We still use you guys when we have questions about like my passport renewal. I'm going through that process right now, just out of date, and I've got to get all these expedited things. Driver's license stuff for her. I'm actually working on getting my permanent resident in Holland, so that's a process in and of itself. So it's kind of
we don't help with that, so don't ask.
I know. Yeah, I already looked, but it's something that you think it's like, oh, we got the green card, we're done, and it's like you're not done yet.
Nope.
Like yeah,
nope.
Hang on a second.
Somebody said to me it will be forever going on, not full time, but it will be forever there. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Maud, what's been the strangest thing about being in America? Like, as an immigrant, have you encountered like weird things like that people do here? What has it like? Give me an example.
Really funny things, actually. Of course, you realize how I always thought that that America looks pretty much like Holland, which is totally not the case.
What?
Yeah, seriously. Like,
really? No, it doesn't.
Things. It's totally different. So like we are in the beginning, we were like making a salad, right? So Nate says to me, "Hey, can you toss the salad?" And I was like, "Are you sure?" Yeah, you can toss it. I was like, okay, looks maybe a little bit brown, but okay. So I open the trash can and dump the salad. Like, what are you doing?
So yeah, lesson learned the hard way. Lost in translation, but we've had plenty of those moments where it was like, I was like, yeah, just, you know, toss the salad up, and she's like, okay, cool.
Not throwing away,
like, it's
mixing it. So those things are funny.
Yeah.
Also, like if Americans say like, I said, where are we going? Yeah, it's down the street. So I'm sitting in the car, I think in 5 minutes we're there. And it takes like 20 minutes to drive somewhere, which is for us in Holland, we do everything on the bike. So if you say, it's 2 minutes biking, and you know those things are also lost in translation. Movie quotes, like a lot of I arrived here and I was sitting in this friend group with Nate's friends, and they say something like redeem yourself, and they all start laughing, and I'm like, why is this funny? Apparently that's from Dumb and Dumber, right?
That's Dumb and Dumber.
A movie quote, and I didn't never watch that movie or heard about it, so that's really a thing what Americans do. And then you feel like an outsider.
You realize how much we speak in movie quotes or song quotes here, and somebody that doesn't. It's just a cultural difference, but it's amazing because so many of these little jokes or little idiosyncrasies revolve around having some knowledge of like American movie culture, and it's just totally like over the head.
Or drive-thrus.
Yeah.
Everything is drive-through here, like Starbucks, even going to the bank. And I'm like, oh my God, you can get money when you're sitting in your car. And then he's like, how do you do it?
She was blown away. When she saw the first Starbucks drive-through, she was like, your Starbucks has a drive-through here? And I was like, yeah. She's like, well, how do you like go inside? I was like, yeah, we just sit in our cars and drive through. She was like, American. I was like, yeah, maybe we're just in a rush, but yeah, we don't like to get out of the car much if we don't have to.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, luckily now you guys are in a van, so you know the drive-through thing's just like a thing now for you.
Yeah,
it is, but our van is too high, so a lot of times
so now we have to go in
because the clearance is not.
The irony is we live in a car, but we can't drive through.
Yeah. They should make higher bars.
Yeah.
Well, it's the American way. So we're almost out of time, but what's next for you two? Anything that's upcoming that you guys are excited about or anything?
The holidays, I think. We have a lot of, so in January, that's a fun thing to say. In January, we're going to do a big trip to Baja in Mexico with the van. So we start doing, after we come back from our family, start doing this big van trip and go down there for 5-6 weeks, and then the rest of the year will be full time in the van.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
home for the first Thanksgiving that we've had, because there was no Thanksgiving last year. COVID, so this will be your first Thanksgiving
with his family,
with my family, which will be really cool. And then we're hopefully going to be back on the road next year and traveling around the West Coast. So anybody that's out there can follow our adventure, of course, if you follow our Instagram.
Somewhere on the road.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, what are your handles so our audience knows where to find you?
Vanning Wilder. So anything on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, we all have the same handle, which is Vanning Wilder.
Yeah. Vanning.
Well, it was so awesome to speak to both of you about your experiences. And for anybody on the Vanning Wilder side, you can follow us at Boundless Immigration on Instagram. Good luck on your travels. And if you need anything, please hit us up with immigration-related questions.
Awesome.
And if you have any van questions, you know what duo to talk to.
You know where to find you.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Thank you so much. You guys enjoy your Friday and be safe.
Yeah, you too.
Happy
Bye-bye.
Friday.
No drive-thrus.
That's right. No drive-thru. See you later.